can't get away from that Falmouth. It's ridiculous.
8-1 each way. I think she has a cracking chance.
So I could watch that over and over, that run at the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, I think she's one of the best bets of the week. I actually think she could be a live classic contender.
St Marks Basilica, 2 French Classics, an Eclipse win. Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our weekend preview, and this is going to be some weekend to preview for the racing. It's going to be absolutely sensational. Jack and I have already previewed the first 3 days of the Doncaster Festival, the Wednesday and the Thursday. Just away from the racing as well, just want to say a massive congratulations to Emma Raducanu. Unbelievable, wasn't it? Into the semi-finals of the US Open on her first try. I think she's like the lowest ranked player since 2009 to reach the semis or something along those lines.
No, I think she's the first ever qualifier to.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I think she's the lowest ranked player since Kim Clijsters to reach the semis.
So there's two people who have reached it being outside the top 100. Kim Clijsters and Billie Jean King, not bad company.
It is very nice. I mean, we did want to talk about the racing, but she is best priced at 4-1 to win the whole thing now. So I hope that she does go and do it. But I wouldn't be taking the bet, but I'd just be cheering her on from my sofa. But we have we're actually filming a bit of a storm. We have a storm full of Group 1s. Group 1 here, Group 1 there, Group 1 absolutely everywhere this week. And I think it's around 11 races Jack and I are going to be previewing over this video, and we'll try and get through it. You know, in quick succession. We'll do it as quick as we can, but we won't rush through anything. We'll start off with the racing on the Friday, and we'll go for the 2 races at Doncaster. And we start off with the 2:10. It's the Flying Childers Stakes, which is a Group 2 over 5 furlongs. And Armour is your favourite here at 7-4. Curragh and Curragh are 9-2. Atagirl 6-1. Chipotle or Chipotle, depends how you want to say it, 17-2. The Organiser 10-1, 18-1, and bigger the rest. This is actually probably my least favourite race to preview out of all of the yeah, I have got a selection, but I'll let you start with this race. But out of all of the 11, this is probably my least favourite to preview.
Oh, fair play. No, I think Armour is a worthy favourite. I was kind of scratching my head trying to look for something outside of him, and I think I was kind of staring at the blatant obvious. I mean, of course, he's dropping back from 6 furlongs, which I think will be a dream from the Pre-Morny, obviously into Group 2 company, which when he was in Group 1 company, he ran a great race that day, and I mean, I think that can be upgraded because he was definitely drawn on the wrong side. You saw Christophe Soumillon come to the near side to try and get off that tacky, horrible ground in the centre, but he ran an alright race. I think this drop back to 5 is going to benefit, and I mean, it's a big plus dropping into Group 2 company. The only worry for me is if it doesn't rain. I think he will need as much rain as possible, and if it doesn't rain, I think Chipotle has a decent chance. I mean, he's currently priced 11-1 in a couple of places, which I think is a decent price. I mean, on Eve Johnston-Horton, I know they call him Chippy at the yard, so hopefully Chippy will be able to do it on good to firm ground if we do get that. But if it's anything good to soft or softer, I think Armour takes all the beating. Yeah,
I've got down Armour as the one that's going to take all the beating here. I am interested in the horse of George Bowes, that's Corazon. I was quite impressed last time at Longchamp. Now, that was the horse's first time on the turf out in France. And the horse is by Marquez, who usually tends to like good to firm ground. He's by Marquez. So I would have thought that the horse might want quicker going come Friday. I just think there could be potential improvement from this horse. And there's one thing that's quite key at the moment is Buick. Right, Buick is booked on the board this horse, and his agent seems to be doing absolutely everything to try and bridge that gap. It's not going to be easy, don't get me wrong, but he's ridden 3 winners today. So that was the Wednesday. So he's ridden 3 winners on the Wednesday, and Oisin is he's coming for Oisin, but Oisin hopefully he'll do the business. But Buick's agent's doing a hell of a lot, and I think that Corazon could potentially show a little bit of improvement. So if the ground does come up on the good to softer side, Jacoby of Armour, but definitely a big mention on firmer ground for Chippy, Chipotle or Chipotle, whatever you want to say, and that's in the Flying Childers Stakes. Now, this race here is going to be fascinating to preview because this will be all about the ground. It's the 240, which is the Doncaster Cup Stakes, which is a Group 2 over 2 miles. Stradivarius is best priced 4-6 for this race. Trushan 3-1. Rodrigo Diaz is 6s. The horse that Jack's probably going to put up is 14-1. Alertaroa is 18-1 and 33-1. But those, am I right in saying that you're going to give a big mention to the horse that I think you're going to put up in Naif Road?
Not a big mention, but I mean, I'll give him a mention nonetheless. I know Stradivarius is definitely available with Paddy Power and Betfair at 10-11, so a bit better than the 4-6, which he said, which is handy. I mean, listen to that thunder. I don't know. I know, yeah. Goodness me. It's absolutely...
The storm is coming this weekend,
it is, it really is. But no, Stradivarius, I mean, hopefully it is the Stradivarius show. I think hopefully he'll be able to bow out here. I'd like them to say if it was his last race before. I mean, I don't think they should give him another season. I know it's quite a weak division, but he only just got the better of an okay Spanish mission last time out. Although Spanish mission is now being sent over to Australia, I see, which is quite interesting enough for their carnival over there. But no, hopefully it is Stradivarius show. I'd be interested to see on good to soft ground whether they try and run Trueshan. This is a thing for me, because on good to soft ground, who do you go with? And A, who do you go with? But B, what does the market look like? So I think on good to soft ground, we could be seeing potentially 6-4 Stradivarius, 7-4 Trueshan, because let's not forget Trueshan is still giving Stradivarius weight. But I do think it's going to be intriguing if we do get good to soft, or potentially even soft, or good to soft in places, because will Bjorn Nielsen want Stradivarius to run? Absolutely, but will they on testing conditions? Who knows?
Yeah, well, Stradivarius is, I mean, Frankie said it after the last run, the Longsdale Cup, that the horse doesn't, not in a position now where this horse is going to win by 5+ lengths. It's now going to be a bit of a battle for this horse now, all the way to the line. And like you say, if it was good to soft ground, it'd be really fascinating if both ran. It'd be a sort of red or black with these two. And you've got to remember, when sometimes these battles come about, there is always something out the pack that could potentially spring a shock.
Yeah, you say about red or black, there's also a green on the roulette wheel, like Nayef Road.
There we go.
So who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But Stradivarius, I think I'd like to see this horse bow out on Champions Day. It's the best stage for him to bow. I know the ground's not going to be right, but in terms of a stage and a big moment, Champions Day is massive. At Ascot, where he's done what he's done with the Gold Cup there, the crowd's going to be huge that day, and I think it could be just a massive thing to see him parade in front of those stands, but I think we'll probably need good soft ground for them to consider running there. I'm not sure whether that's the plan, but I'd love to see that. So if you had to side with one here, who would it be?
Oh, with the forecast ground, it has to be Stradivarius, I think. I don't think Trueshan will run as it stands. And if that's the case, I think Stradivarius probably goes 2-3 to 1 on, because you're kind of battling for places in behind.
It's a no-bet race, I think, for myself and Jack, but we would both love to see Stradivarius go and do the business in the Doncaster Cup. Now let's get on to Saturday now. We stay with Doncaster, the 220, which is the Champagne Stakes, over 7 furlongs. Reach for the Moon is your 10-11 favourite here. LaSalle 4-1. Native Trail is 5-1. I think Native Trail's got entries in Ireland as well. Bayside Boys 7-1. Masakela is best priced 8-1, and double figures the rest of them. At the moment, on paper, hell of a race. You reckon?
Yeah, I mean, Native Trail definitely is going to Ireland.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, confirmed.
Right, there we go. So that horse going there. I mean, I think it's a really cracking race, and Reach for the Moon has looked so good, and we know how good the form is from that Chesham, and we'll probably talk about that again later in this video. But I'm going to take I'm going to give an each way angle in this race, and I'm going to tip up the horse that Oshin has given us for the whole of the season. That is Masakela. Now, came second in superlative behind a smart horse in Native Trail, who, like you say, will probably be going to Ireland. I think Oshin would love another crack at that race. I really do. Oshin came absolutely flying that day. I don't know whether he thought he left it slightly too late with the horse, but one thing we know about this horse as well, if they do go off a hard pace, this horse will love it, because this horse is, every time, in the last run at Newbury, the horse hit the line so well, kept on in a bit of a battle as well that day. I just think that potentially, I mean, I've seen some bookmakers price up at 9-2 and some at 8-1, so there's a mad difference. I think William Hill at 8-1, and I can't remember the bookmaker that are going 9-2, so there is a bit of a difference, but I think the horse is a decent each way angle. Oshin said the horse would improve throughout the season, and I think 8-1, especially with some of the horses getting pulled out. I know we're probably filming this before the full declarations are coming, so you might not get the price that we've mentioned here, but 8-1 at the moment would be a cracking price. I think if someone like Native Trail came out, I think 5-1 might be a fair price about this horse, but I would be with Masakela in this race. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Reach for the Moon's a very intriguing contender. Of course, destroyed the field in the Solario Stakes. Was it a good field? No, it wasn't a good field. But he's done pretty much everything asked of him, of course. Finished second in the Chesham just on his second run, I think it was, which has turned out to be an unbelievable bit of form. But he's priced to the including the factor that the Queen owns him, and he could be an exciting Derby prospect. I mean, he's odds on, and from what he's shown, should he really be odds on? Probably not. And it's just a price thing for me that I think LaSalle is probably the one to opt for. I mean, he's currently 4-1, and I know he carries a £3 penalty for his win in the Gym Crack, but he did quicken away to the line very well. He ran on well. He hit the line with plenty of conviction. He did take a split second or two to actually get going. But I mean, if you look at his form the whole way through, he's beaten the likes of Ebro River, of course, Group 1 winner. You've got Asymmetric, Noble Truth, Find, who's running in a listed race on Friday, which also looks like he could have a decent chance there for the Gosdens. So his form the whole way through is almost rock solid as 2-year-old form goes. I know, of course, he doesn't have that marvellous bit of Chesham form, but I do think LaSalle is almost a little bit overlooked by this massive hot pot in reach for the moon. I don't think the step up to 7 furlongs should affect Lascelles at all, and I do think he may be able to mount a bold challenge more so than the market suggests at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's some real cracking types in this field. I really do. And Reach for the Moon, fascinating with the Jubilee next year. A lot of people are thinking that this is a big plan for the Derby, and I'm sure that's where this horse will be targeted next season. I think the advisor for the Queen, racing advisor for the Queen, has mentioned that Derby would probably be the long-term prospect if they can get the horse there. So fascinating. I think Lascelles is a really, really decent horse. I think, like I say, it's a really, really nice race. I think we're going to see some smart horses come from that race, even if they don't win. But yeah, Jack will be with Lascelles, currently priced at around 4-1, and I will be with Massacala each way at 8-1 in the Champagne Stakes. Let's go on to the 7 furlong race now. It is the 3 o'clock. It's the Kazoo Park Stakes. It's a Group 2 over 7. Lanacash is 9-4 for this race. Glorious Journey 7-2, along with Dania, who's also priced up at 7-2. Ross Collins 8-1. Horoscope 9s and Dubai 10s, and I think it's 20-1 bar the rest of them. I think I'm going to side with a 6-year-old here in Glorious Journey. I think that the run last time behind Space Blues at York, I think that was very decent. I think the horse needs good firm ground. This is key with this horse. I mean, it's one of these, with this weekend, I wouldn't be backing horses a day in advance at this stage. The ground could be absolutely anything with this weather. We've had glorious 26-degree temperatures, and we've just suddenly got a thunderstorm hit us with a fair bit of rain come down. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like up in Doncaster, but usually up north it tends to be a little bit worse with the weather. They're known for that. So
not that you're stereotyping.
Up north we tend to see the worst weather, so we'll have to see how things go. But if the quicker ground were to come up, I think Glorious Journey, I think he could be a decent bet at 7-2. I think the favourite is very unexposed. It'd be fascinating. A good second last time behind Sacred, and I think Sacred's plans to go to the Breeders' Cup and run a decent race there, so it'd be fascinating to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going to stick with a 6-year-old here. It's not a confident selection. It's not one of my bold ones, but yeah, if I had to pick one, it'd be Glorious Journey there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think, first of all, I think Daniel does need firm or good to firm ground. I mean, if you look at his win at Ascot last time out, that was, I think, the 3rd quickest time over 7 furlongs at Ascot ever. So it was a very quick time, but of course that was factored into the rattling quick ground. If you look at Dale's King George time, that also replicated that. Glorious Journey, I think it's in between Lanacash and Glorious Journey for me, because Glorious Journey, he's a very consistent sort. I'm not with you in the ground. I think he works on good to soft or even soft ground. I think he's a little bit more versatile than you're giving him his due there, but he's going to run his race and he'll run it yet again. Is he a price at 7-2? No. Is Lanacash a price at 9-4? I don't really think so. But then again, I think Lanacash is on the up more so than the other contenders here. I mean, the second in the Hungerford was a good result there. But I also think Dane O'Neill was giving him a little bit of an easy time, if I'm being honest. I watched it back and I didn't think he was fully giving him everything there. Of course, Tom Marquand wasn't on board Sacred as well, but it's interesting to see, as you say, where Sacred goes, probably overseas to the Breeders' Cup or whatnot. But no, I think Lanacash is on the way up, and then if you look at the time as well of the Hungerford, it was 4 seconds quicker than Aratus, who won a handicap that day, and Aratus has since gone and won next time out at Goodwood, and he's now rated 102. So from a time perspective, the Hungerford kind of hit all the right buttons, and I think 9-4, albeit not the greatest price, I'd say is the most likely winner.
Right, okay. It will be a fascinating race over 7 furlongs. 7 furlong races are usually quite hard to call the winner of as well, like I say.
Love a 7 furlong race, though.
Yeah, I love Space Blues, so that's all I can say. The best 7 furlong horse in training, in my opinion. So, Jack, you're probably going to side with Lanacash, and I'll be with Glorious Journey in the Park Stakes on the Saturday. And we go on to the big one at Doncaster, the final classic of the season. It is the Kazoo St Ledger, over 1 mile and 3/4. It's a Group 1, and Hurricane Lane, I've looked today, is best priced at 4-6 for a classic. Ottoman Emperor is 7-1. Mojo Star 8s. High Definition 9s. Sir Lucan 14-1. Interpretation is 18-1. The Mediterranean 20-1. Youth Spirit 25 and 50-1. The rest of the field. Jack, what can we say? 3rd in the Derby behind a Dale, where I think everything went wrong that day for Hurricane Lane. Then won the Irish Derby, proving how good a stayer this horse could potentially be, picking off Lone Eagle in the Irish Derby, and then since then has won the Grand Prix de Paris in as easy fashion as you like. I mean, last week we talked about Starman being the penalty kick. Is this a penalty kick with no goalkeeper?
No, I don't think so. It's a 3-year-old classic. There's no such thing as a penalty kick, I don't think. Yes, he's the most likely winner. He's kind of done everything asked of him, albeit not winning the Derby, but he's done all but everything asked of him. Is he the most likely winner? Of course he is, but he's 4-6. Will I be going anywhere near 4-6? Not at all. But I think the without market's quite interesting. High Definition's an interesting point. It feels like more so maybe this season than any other season. The O'Briens seem to be throwing their horses about almost into these races.
Sounds bad, but I don't want to use the word, but in some ways a bit desperate.
Yeah,
like in some ways. I don't want to say it like that, but they're throwing horses here, there, and everywhere at the moment, trying to find a winner for them.
I think it kind of makes a mockery of, I don't know, if you look at the likes of some of the smaller yards who can't afford to supplement horses or enter them or whatnot for these. I mean, of course, he ran in the Juddmonte as well and didn't go there, so now they're stepping him back up to a mile 6. I mean, they're still clinging on to that piece of 2-year-old form which he had, which was very impressive. But of course, that is definitely in the past. He's clearly 100%. Hasn't trained on like we thought he would. Hurricane Lane's the one to beat, but I mean, in the without market, Interpretation's 10-1. Now, of course, we put him at
you gave him a big mention.
Anti-Post. He's got a very similar profile to Galileo Chrome, of course, very unexposed. Won his last 3, and hopefully he's still on his way up. So I think he could almost go a little bit under the radar for the O'Briens. Be interesting to see who's jocked up. I saw Frankie Dettori on Wednesday said that he doesn't actually quite know who he's going to be on. I'd assume that's going to be High Definition, but it's intriguing to see who's going to be on all the other Aidan O'Brien horses. And also Fernando Vici, I think at 50-1, still too big a price. Didn't finish too far behind Interpretation last time out. Of course, is the brother of Joseph O'Brien, who won it last year. For the same owners as well, so it'd be interesting. He's by Australia, like Galileo Chrome, so it'd be interesting to see if he can improve. He's still pretty exposed. He hasn't really shown too much to suggest he's up to a classic standard thus far, but I mean, hopefully he'll be able to sneak a place.
Okay, a couple of decent each way selections for Jack there. If I had to find one without the favourite or an each way angle, I have to do it because it's Sir Lucan. I have to, right? There's only one reason, right? And do you know what? It's weird because I didn't even know, but Jason Weaver's been following this horse off a cliff as well, and has put the horse up as an each way bet for this race as well. But it's just fascinating with Sir Lucan because there was one element of me the last time I thought maybe this horse doesn't stay as well as I thought. But the horse has had entries in 2-mile races and Group 1 2-mile races across the season, and I just think potentially that this race could be run to suit. Aidan O'Brien has got so many horses in here, and I think it's going to be one of those tactical affairs that we always talk about with Aidan O'Brien. And obviously this horse, we're still waiting for him to go to Australia, but I'm guessing this will be it.
He's also entered in the Irish Ledger, and money came for him on Wednesday.
Right, okay.
He's now into 5.
Potentially a good bet in the Irish Ledger then. But if the horse were to go, I would give this horse a chance. Apparently the plan is the Melbourne Cup, so we'll have to wait and see. And that's at the start of November, so it can't be long until they send this horse out there in preparation.
I'm also seeing, I don't know if you've seen, a lot of Serpentine's been sold. I think Sir Lamorak's been sold.
Who was it? Who was it? Serpentine to Joseph. Was that right?
Yeah, so Serpentine sold to Joseph before going out to Australia, as has Sir Lamorak as well. So there's a lot of chopping and changing going on there to obviously get through the legislation to get out to Australia. But very interesting time.
Interesting, because Joseph has won the Melbourne Cup before, so it'd be fascinating to see whether they go again and they take Serpentine there. That'd be a hell of a win for that horse, considering since the Derby hasn't really done much. So it'd be fascinating to see if the horse could win a Melbourne Cup. But a couple of each way angles, but I think Hurricane Lane is definitely a horse to beat. I think a lot of people want to see him win it anyway, a real star of the season, and a real exciting prospect, and the potential that I think Hurricane Lane and Adea to talk, so they might go into training as 4-year-olds. Not confirmed, but there was talks. So. But everyone hopes so, especially with the flat game. That's the one thing the jumps boys really don't like, is the fact that horses don't stay in training.
I'd say everyone doesn't really like it.
I agree. It does. But it'd be fascinating to see, and we'd love to see both of those Godolphin horses go into training next year. The Ledger looks a right cracker. Let's go to Leopardsdown now, and God, the racing just keeps coming our way. The Coolmore Matron Stakes at Leopardsdown, the 140, a Group 1 over a mile. Mother Earth is 2-1. Create Belief is 11-2. Joan of Arc is 6-1, along with Thundering Knights, who's also 6s. Acanella is 10-1. Tarly is 10-1 and 12-1. Bar those. I hope I've got the pronunciation of those right. But big form alert here. Here we go again. The Falmouth's back. And the reason that I say that, and I wouldn't have brought this up, is the fact that Just Beautiful has won for me, and that horse finished 6th in the Falmouth.
You haven't stopped going on about that.
I just can't, because look at... what, about me having a winner?
About you having a winner.
It's just my first winner in weeks. If those of you who didn't know, and don't worry, I don't always tip up favourites, but I've tipped up a favourite there and a win. I'll probably end up having a treble with Inspiral and Save It Forest, but we'll wait and see. But the Falmouth form is here, Jack, and Mother Earth is your favourite at 2-1. Do we think we have a worthy favourite here, and do you think 2-1 might be a nice price about a favourite?
Yeah, I think she's one of the best bets of the week. I think she looks rock solid in comparison to what's behind. You've got Thundering Knights there, of course, who wants to go over a mile 2. You've got Create Belief, who's very unexposed, but wants heavy ground. Won a Group 3 last time out in okay style, but if there's anything firmer than soft ground, she won't really want to be there. I mean, I think, to be fair, she could actually have a chance in the QE2 each way. If we get some disgusting heavy ground. Of course, she won over a mile at Ascot before, but anyway, I think this is all about Mother Earth. Of course, you look at the Falmouth form, you look at the Coronation Stakes as well on heavy ground. She finished third there, which isn't a bad bit of form, with Alcohol Free and Snow Lantern in first and second. Create Belief's win at Ascot was actually on the same day, so I was looking at the time, and Mother Earth finished 0.8 seconds ahead of Create Belief, so that's about 4 lengths, which isn't bad at all. She was carrying £2 less, albeit. But I do think at Mother Earth, this is a penalty kick. She's won 2,000 guineas on good to firm. She's ran well on heavy ground. Of course, she comes from the Rothschild as well. I hope she can go and do it.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement. This is one of the better bets of the week in Mother Earth, and I can't get away from that Falmouth. It's ridiculous. It's become an absolute joke, that race. But I'm with you in the fact that I think she's just much more class than a lot of these. And I'm not sure whether Joan of Arc is definitely going. But Joan of Arc, obviously, last run was in the Nassau, and I don't know what went wrong that day. I'm still questioning exactly what actually happened in that race with Joan of Arc. Came there from the front and then just really didn't find anything.
Everything went right until 2 furlongs out.
That's it. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure with that. I think Thundering Knights is fascinating because if they do get the good to firm ground, Thundering Knights will run the race that Thundering Knights will, because the horse does need it as quick as possible, in my opinion. But I'd be with Mother Earth. I think she's really classy, and I don't know whether they'll have anything like the Breeders' Cup in mind for Mother Earth, but we'll have to wait and see. It'd be fascinating to see with that horse. So Mother Earth, one of the better bets of the week in the Matron Stakes at Leopardsdown on Saturday, and then on to probably the most talked about race of this whole week and the weekend. It's the 2:45. It's the Irish Champion Stakes, a mile and a quarter, a Group 1. St Marks Basilica, best price 6-4. Tarnawa 2-1. Poetic Flare 7-2. Love 12-1. Snowfall 12-1 and 25-1. Bar this lot. Now Snowfall, I might think Snowfall and Love will probably go out to the Prix Vermeil. Frankie Dettori's already been booked up on Snowfall. I saw that this evening, that he'll be riding Snowfall again in the Vermeil. Obviously, it's Arc Trials weekend out there in France. I'm not sure where Love goes, but if Love was 12, you wouldn't have said Love would be 12-1 for a Group 1.
She's joining Snowfall out in France.
Yeah, that's confirmed. So it really is a battle between these top three, and we could give each of these probably a shout on paper. St Marks Basilica, 2 French Classics, an Eclipse win, looks really nice. Tarnawa, well fancied for the Arc, dropping back to a mile 2. The horse has done it before. We know the horse has won over this distance before, and yeah, looked very impressive the last day. And then Poetic Flare, who will probably need over this distance the good to firm going. It's going to be really, really fascinating. Could you whistle it down to 2 of them, or do you think it is going to be a battle between the 3?
It's hard to completely dismiss Poetic Flare, but if you look at how inexperienced he is, I wouldn't exactly say unexposed, but inexperienced he is over this distance, you'd have to look to the front too.
Yeah.
And I've been a St Marks Basilica man for the past couple of weeks. Before I sat down the last few days and properly looked at it. St Marks Basilica was being given £10 by everything. He only gets £3 from Tarnawa here.
Yeah.
And although St Marks Basilica did do it very impressively, I think this is going to require a lot different of a task here. I think he'll definitely need the soft ground.
That's it, yeah.
But he'll be able to go on anything better than that, but I think he'll definitely need it. Whereas Tarnawa doesn't need it whatsoever. She's very, very versatile. I mean, you saw her win the Opera on heavy ground, and I can't get that win in the Breeders' Cup turf out of my head. I mean,
one of my favourite tips of last season, that was.
Colin Keane was just electric.
So good, that is.
Yeah.
I could watch that over and over, that run at the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
She came from the back like in a flash. I mean, it was absolutely obscene. I mean, if she shows anything like that, she's a very speedy filly, isn't she? We know that a mile and a half isn't her minimum trip. She can easily drop back to a mile and a quarter. She's very speedy, and I do think she is probably the bet just at 2-1 rather than the 6-4 about St Marks Basilica.
Okay, and we were having this discussion. I mean, I'm with Tarnawa, Tarnstawa, or Tarnarqua, whatever you want to call her. I'll be with her this weekend. Sorry, was that good? Tarnstawa, or do you prefer Tarnarqua?
Neither.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I just think the horse... Do we think the horse needs to win this race to be considered as a real Arc contender, or do you think the horse could finish a length second and we could still go, Tarnawa could come on from this and win the Arc?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they pulled 10 lengths clear of third, I mean, we know this isn't to the maximum of her distance that she wants to go. She wants to go 1.5 miles. So she's dropping back to St Marks Basilica's feeding ground to 1.25 miles. So she was beaten, but ran a gallant race. I don't think she has any kind of... I don't think that disgruntles her chance in the Arc whatsoever.
Yeah, okay, it's going to be a really great race. I'm going to be with Tarnawa. I think that she is very classy, and like Jack said, we actually talked about the horse on an anti-post preview, and I was saying that the horse just is so ground versatile, can do speed, can stay, got everything. This horse has the full package, and I just think that she's an absolute star. Colin Keane is going to give this horse a hell of a ride at the weekend. I think she will be winning. I think a 2-1 is a fair price about this horse. So be Tarnawa for myself and Jack in the Irish Champion Stakes. That'll be the race this weekend. To let us know down in the comments who you're going to be with in the Irish Champion Stakes. Be fascinated to see if anyone goes with Poetic Flare, the reasons why as well. Let us know, because Poetic Flare has been an absolute warrior. Wouldn't surprise me to see him battling away, especially if the ground came up good.
Or
good
is it going to be a Monkfish versus Envoy and something's going to steal?
Imagine, yeah. I mean, it'd be something at a massive price, because it'd probably be, I think it's 25-1 bar than if you take out Snowfall and Love. So,
what do you think of the market? Do you think that they're all fairly priced? Because personally, I think Poetic Flare is a little bit short. I think he should be fives.
Considering,
minimum.
like you say, the inexperience, I think that, 7-2 is a fair bit short. I wouldn't want to be backing a horse at 7-2.
And what about the front two in the market? Because I would personally have them 7-4 joint favourites. I mean, how there's half a point between them in St Marks Basilica's favour, I think is almost a little bit of a down for Tarnawa.
I think that St Marks Basilica, they're basing the market on the fact that this horse is young and probably improving, potentially more than Tarnawa. Tarnawa could potentially still improve, but St Marks Basilica probably should be showing more improvement going forward, and the bookmakers are taking no chances about the horse, and especially with the rain coming this weekend, I think that's what they'll be looking for this horse, and that would give the horse a right chance. But yeah, I think it's going to be Tarnawa, and Jack and I are both in agreement for that race. And let's go on to Sunday now, where we go for, I think it's 4 Group 1 races out there, and we start off with a bit of a rocket race here. It's the 255 at the Curragh. It's the Leopardsdown Stud Flying 5 Stakes over the 5 furlongs, and Winter Power is best price 9-4 here. Dragon Symbol is 3-1. Glass Slippers is 10-3. Munista is 8-1. Rohan 12-1. Gustavus Western is 12-1 and 20-1. Bar the field. The form of the Nunthorpe is looking so good, and especially with Emiratiana going and winning the Sprint Cup at Haydock. I just think that she's going to take all the beating here. It's not a great selection, but I just think that she's going to show improvement. She's probably going to get the ground that she wants at the weekend. We'll have to wait and see.
Do you think so?
I think the horse will win if the ground is good or better. At the weekend, we'll have to wait and see how much rain comes over there. It's very difficult for us to find out exactly how much they're going to get out there. But
well, there is a weather warning for floods over in the Curragh.
Right, okay. So we'll have to wait and see. So this is, again, like I said earlier, I wouldn't be backing horses until I know exactly what the ground's like. But at this stage, I'd be with Winter Power. I think she's an absolute star. If it did come, I would give Dragon Symbol a chance. I actually want the horse to lose, as much as I love this horse. I want the horse to be told that 6 furlongs on soft going is what this horse needs. I just think that 5 furlongs, they keep trying this, and I'm just not sure.
It's just too sharp.
But maybe a bit of juice in the ground. As much as they keep saying the horse needs firm going, I just think that potentially this horse may run a better race if there is a bit of juice in the ground on the day. And we look at Dragon Symbol's run at Goodwood as well. Ran quite well on the soft going there. So be fascinating to see. Would you be with the favourite if the ground was how it is now? You'd be with the favourite?
No.
You wouldn't?
No. Winter Power, York specialist for me. She needs to be at York to perform to her best if there is any juice in the ground. I know she won on soft before at York, but it's a big question mark for me. Dragon Symbol, just get him back to 6 furlongs.
Please.
Just get him back to 6
Archie,
furlongs.
please. Just champion sprint, get in there.
And he also needs to give Glass Slippers £3. I mean, they're only separated by about a length, I think it was, in the King George. So Glass Slippers is intriguing for me. I mean, she's so consistent, isn't she? She's so versatile as well. She won this last year, but if you look at the market, we've got a 9-4 favourite, a 3-1 second favourite, and a 10-3 third favourite. There's just no value there whatsoever.
I agree with you.
I think they're all way too short. If you took one out of the market, I'd kind of understand 9-4 and 3-1, but I think they're all probably a point or two too short. And I was really impressed with Munista last time out at the Curragh. Really impressed. I mean, she was edging towards that big performance. You look at her finishing 6th in the Commonwealth Cup on that horrible, horrible ground. She was really edging towards it, and she travelled like an absolute dream with Colin Keane on board and kicked away in really good style. And I mean, Gustavus Weston, who's of course in this, she easily kind of dismissed him. And I mean, if you look at that form, it looks great because Gustavus Weston has gone and romped home in the Group 3 after that. So I mean, if you look at that piece of form, it's good from a form perspective, but also from a time perspective, it was also a decent enough performance. So I think she seriously does have a live chance in this at 8-1 each way away from the top 3 in the market.
Okay, yeah, Munista 8-1 each way bet for Jack, and I will be with Winds Power, but like I say, it'll be dependent on the day on the ground. Now we'll go to the Curragh again for the 3:30 there, the Moyglare Stud Stakes. It's another Group 1 over 7 furlongs. Agatha is 11-4. Cared Godio is 7-2. Homeless Songs is 7-2. Lullaby is 6-1. Discovery is 8-1. Sunset Shiraz is 8-1. Velocidad is 10s and 12-1. And Bigger, the rest of them. Not a race that I haven't had a massive look through this race, but I'd probably give a chance to the Dermot World horse in here. Homeless Song at 7-2. One run. Yeah, and has beaten the favourite on that one run. The horse is bifrancal. I can see improvement coming from this horse. And one thing a lot of people would be a lot of confidence towards Tarnawa is that Dermot World in the last 14 days is going at a 25% strike rate, and he's got a decent horse in the Irish Ledger as well. But I just think that this horse potentially will step up from that run, and there's no reason. I mean, the favourite has won a Group 2 since. You never know what this horse is going to come out and do next with Homeless Songs, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, with the way that the stable are going, and potentially after that one run and expecting some improvement, it is a bit of a risk. But I do think that Homeless Song could potentially be a bet at 7-2 here. Would you be with the favourite in here for Joseph O'Brien?
No, I'd be agreeing with you. The reason I think Homeless Songs is that prize is because I'm not sure she runs. If she does get declared, I can imagine she goes off favourite at 2-1, 7-4. I mean, she clearly dismissed Agatha in decent style last time out. She's currently priced 25-1 for the 1,000 guineas. I don't actually think that's the worst price in the world. Okay. I actually think she could be a live classic contender. Will she go here on that route? I'm not too sure, but I mean, she showed a really good turn of foot from the rear of the field there, and I mean, she strides like she wants a mile next season straight away, so it'd be interesting to see if she goes there. I think she does look a Group 1 filly in the making.
Yes.
If she doesn't go, I mean, Agatha has clear form claims out of everything else in the race, but it'd be nice to see them battle it out again. If there's anything like good ground, I think Homeless Songs is the one to beat, and at 7-2 I think that would be a good price. Will she go off that price? Probably not.
Yeah. It seems to be with these big festivals and these big weekends that we get absolutely smacked in the face with this weather. We just never know. Like every time the big round, well, it's fine when there's just that, stand like a Group 3 on a Saturday. We tend to know, it's just going to be good or good to firm, and then we get all the Group 1s come and the weather's all up in the air. But we'll have to wait and see what the ground comes up at the weekend, and we will just quickly discuss the 405 at the Curragh. It's the Vincent O'Brien National Stakes over 7 furlongs. Point Longsdale is 2-1 on. Native Trail is 3-1. Ebro River is 5-1. Duke de Sessa is 9-1. Maritime Wings is 16-1. Great Max 20-1. And 33-1 bar those. Maiden listed. Group 3, Group 2. Is the pattern going to be completed with Group 1?
Most likely.
Yeah.
He's clearly the one to beat, isn't he? Native Trail, I think, could be the better 3-year-old though in time. He's got a big frame to fill. If you look at him, he's a big lengthy colt. I mean, I don't know how he managed to stay ahead of Masekela in that superlative, but he did. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes as a 3-year-old. I won't really be getting anywhere near him in this. But Point Lonsdale is clearly the one to beat. He should really just go in here, but he's 2-1 on. Am I going to be having a bet on him? No. Am I going to be having a bet on something each way? Probably, actually.
Okay.
It's a maiden. The maiden in the race, Ultramarine, at 33-1.
Wow.
For Joseph O'Brien now. He's kind of been edging in the right direction. He finished 4th in the Round Tower Stakes last time out, behind Sacred Bridge. Now, he was drawn on the wrong side of the track, and then switched out right where the pace wasn't, so he had to go all the way around the outside, made up way too much ground than was necessarily, ran on down the far side on his own to finish 4th. I think you can upgrade that performance big time. He's definitely going to go under the radar. I mean, he may not be a Group 1 winner in waiting, but hopefully he can run a good race each way.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, Point Longdale wasn't a race that I had to look at for too long, and I'm not obviously going to have a bet on this horse, but one thing you say with Nate Trail making potentially a really good free-roll, I think that Point Longdale might even do the same, because Australians don't tend to perform this well at 2. They're usually better at 3, so it is fascinating. I think a lot of people are going to want to see this horse potentially be the superstar of Aidan O'Brien. Aidan O'Brien's had plenty of superstars, but at the moment this horse here looks like it could be an absolute weapon. And coming from that Cheshire win, it was a really impressive performance, and since then has done everything right. So it will be fascinating if Masekela were to run well in the Champagne Stakes. If that's where the horse goes, then Native Trail, it would be fascinating to see the without market, but I wouldn't think the horse would be great price without the favourite in that. But it's a no bet race for myself, but Jack's given a nice each way selection for the Joseph O'Brien horse, and I will be leaving it alone, but it'll be a no bet on Point Longdale in the race. And now the final race that we're going to preview on the weekend, it'll be the 440. It's the Irish St Leger, again over a mile and 3/4. It's a Group 1 with Twilight Payment as your favourite here at 4-1. Sunny Boy Liston 5-1. Search for a Song is 11-2. Sir Lucan, as Jack mentioned, has been back for this race, is also 11-2. Baron Samedi is 6-1. Emperor of the Sun, Santiago and Passion 10-1, and it's bigger the rest of the field. I think I'm going to be with last year's winner, and that's Search for a Song. And it's just, again, it's so difficult with the ground. This horse, again, will need good ground to be winning at the weekend. Really will. And I mean, I would obviously have to put Sir Lucan up if the horse goes here, but I can't do that. But I have got down in my notes that I'd be with Search for a Song. I know Emperor of the Sun earlier in the season beat this horse, but that was on good to yielding ground. I really hate the term yielding. It's always hard to discover what kind of ground it is. Yeah, it's good to soft, but it's just say it's good to soft. I don't like the term yielding. But I just think that Emperor of the Sun, if the ground came up with a bit of juice in the ground, I think this horse will run really well. But if it came up on the good side, I just think the Search for the Song is just really classy. A course and distance winner at the Curragh. I do think that the strike rate of Dermot World is going to play into hands at the moment. 25% is huge for 14 days. It is a big strike rate. You get we say that trainers are going well at 16 to 20%, but when you're going at 25%, that's 1 in 4
Do you know
winners.
how many runners that is?
I can't remember, no, but he's had plenty of runners. I've seen plenty of.
Okay,
I've seen plenty of winners, and a load of people posting on Twitter as well with videos going up of horses that he's had that's won. So he'll have Search for a Song, he'll have potentially Homeless Songs, and then he'll also have Tarnawa. So you'd like to think 1 in 4. You'd like to at least hope one of them is going to go in this weekend for him, but I would potentially be with him, although I do think the favourite is quite a nice horse as well. So it's not an easy race to pick out, but I'd be with Search for a Song if the ground was to come up on the good side. Yourself?
Yeah, it's a very tricky race, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Search for a Song obviously catches the eye. On the hunt for a 3-timer in this, but I mean, I think Sunny Boy Liston has a decent chance. He's on the up. In 2012, Royal Diamond won this after finishing second in the Ebor, so it is possible to go from the Ebor to this. And if you look at the Ebor, it is a group race these days. I mean, if you look at the likes that are in there, they are all trying to land that big handicap, the biggest handicap in Europe in terms of prize money. And if you look last year at the Curragh, he beat the subsequent Irish Gold Cup winner Helvic Dream and also Thundering Knights in handicap. So it'd be interesting to see what he does on his return to the Curragh over this distance, because he clearly likes coming here. Yep. And I think at 11-2, is it, or 5-1?
Yeah,
5-1. I think that's an okay price. So of the front few in the market, I'd say he's marginally the one to beat.
Okay, yeah, Sunny Boy Liston for Jack in the Irish St Leger, and I'll be with Search for a Song. But it'd be fascinating to see if Sir Lucan goes in there, because I have to follow this horse wherever he goes, and it'll be the death of me, I think. But yeah, it's a cracking weekend racing. We have to go through now our nap and next best, and I've got a fear here that our nap's going to be the same, but I will be with Mother Earth in the Matron Stakes as my nap of the weekend. Matron. I'll be with Mother Earth in the Matron Stakes, and then I will be with Masekela each way as my next best in the Champagne Stakes. They'll be my 2 bets of the weekend. What about yourself?
Oh, it's so tough. I'm going to give you a nap, a next best, and a handicap selection.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I'll let you have that. Yeah, I'll let you have that. Yeah.
The nap's going to be Monista in the Flying 5 at 8-1 each way. I think she has a cracking chance, especially if we get good or good to soft ground. I think she's very much overlooked from the front 3 in the market. You can pick holes in the 3 of them, and hopefully at 8-1 she'll run a good race. And the second best is going to be Mother Earth, like yourself. Yeah. I think 2-1. 5-2 is available with Request a Bet on the Sky Bet.
Oh,
so if anyone fancies looking here, hopefully it's
there we
still up
go,
when
yeah.
the video's up. But 5-2 is available with request a bet. They haven't quite caught up on it just yet, so
okay.
hopefully you can get on that. I think Armour also has a decent chance in the Flying Childers, but I don't think he's going to be in there. And the handicap bet's going to be Boom Shalar at 12-1, who I did actually fancy for the Stewards Cup a long time ago. Didn't go there. He's just very unexposed. He's a 3-year-old, finished second at Royal Ascot when he was staying on. He's dropping back to probably 5.5 furlongs, so he's entered at both Chelmsford on Sunday and Doncaster in the 145 on Saturday. I hope he does go for the 145 on Saturday. I'll wait for him to be declared before going in on him, but he's very unexposed. I mean, last time out at Newmarket he was drawn in the completely wrong side of the track. I think a mark of 96 isn't that bad, and I hope he'll be able to compete in some group races in the future.
There we go, so some of our best bets for the weekend, and Jack and I will be back with you hopefully on Tuesday evening with our feature video, where it'll probably be a review of the weekend, I'm sure, because there'll be plenty to talk about and see where horses go from the races that they've potentially won. So we'll have to wait and see there. But yeah, do subscribe if you haven't already, give the video a like, and we will see you on Tuesday for our feature video. Enjoy the weekend.